from the Daily Wire, and I'll give you the headline real quick. Secret Service finds tree stand with clear view of Trump's Palm Beach Air Force One exit. This incident underscores the importance of our layered security measures. I'm not going to mince words or waste time. This was, I believe, the most reasonable conclusion. An assassination attempt in the making. There's no hunting in Palm Beach. It is a dense urban area. There is no reason for a tree stand with a view for the airport. That makes no sense. And we had contemplated whether or not this should be the lead story for the show. And we decided to go with the liberal guy at the No Kings protest calling for people to take up guns and shoot ICE agents. Now, it may be there's a million and one reasons why this is not an assassination plot on President Trump. But I believe the most reasonable assessment is, I'll read you the story. U.S. Secret Service discovered an elevated tree stand with a clear view of the area where Trump routinely disembarks Air Force One. Eric Trump responded to the news, praising Secret Service for finding it, saying, "Hunting stand for all the whitetail on Southern Boulevard, located directly across the street from Palm Beach International Airport, in the median of a major highway directly facing Air Force One stairs." They go on to say the elevated stand, would typically used for hunting, was discovered on Thursday, according to a report published by Fox News Digital. It appeared to have been there for some time. It has not yet been linked to any potential suspects. According to Secret Service, Communications, Anthony Guglielmi, there was no one in the vicinity when it was discovered. So the FBI is currently investigating the situation. Director Patel confirmed Sunday and is working with the Secret Service. Patel gave the outlet a statement saying, prior to the president's return to West Palm Beach, Secret Service discovered what appeared to be an elevated hunting stand within line of sight of Air Force One's landing zone. No individuals were located in the scene. The FBI has since taken the investigatory lead, flying in resources to collect all evidence for the scene. The discovery marks yet another potential threat against Trump, who already survived multiple attempts on his life. My understanding was, and I don't know if you guys heard this, that they were doing renovations on the airport, something to that effect. I don't know if this is true or not then, but I saw it on Twitter. Someone said that they had done renovations, and while they were doing it, Air Force One was landing in a different area. It appears while that was going on, someone set up this tree stand over in the past couple of months. Maybe the long game. What do you guys think? Do you think someone was just putting up a tree stand to stand in a tree facing the airport to see birds?
Well, it can't be a hunting stand because like around airports, the FAA sets up like no discharge zones, so you just can't fire like weapons around airports.
Yep.
And hunters, like there are some wacky and wild hunters out there, but generally they're pretty aware of like property lines and where you can shoot and what animals you cannot. They're not going to be setting up deer blinds like right by airports. Just not how the world
works. Any airport that has a runway that would accommodate a 747 has far too much noise and too much activity for deer to be interested in being anywhere around.
Yeah. Palm Beach is a dense urban populated area. Okay, Palm Beach is part of the greater, I guess we call it the greater Miami metro. Mm-hmm. When you're in Miami, when you drive north, it's one gigantic urban sprawl all the way up an hour drive to Fort Lauderdale and Palm Beach, I think, is somewhere in between, or is it north? I don't know the exact area, but there's no hunting.
Yeah,
gators. Yeah, go to the Everglades. So it's actually this way. This is from Jennifer Jacobs on X. She's CBS News. She says, because of airport reconstruction of last year, the section wasn't being used for Air Force One arrivals or departures. After construction wrapped, Air Force One was due to use that part of the airport again. Agents searched the area as part of their advance work and discovered the hunting stand. It sounds like they started doing reconstruction. Air Force One landed in a different area. Someone then took that opportunity when security was light to set up a hunting stand so that when construction was over, they would have a clear line of sight to shoot the president.
If not actually for an assassination attempt, maybe a symbol.
I think there's different symbols to be used. They'd put up a and you could argue that if they wanted to make it a direct threat, you'd do something else. I don't see. The only thing I see is this was an attempt. There's other ways to threaten that you want to do something to the president, I guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking about JFK and the Umbrella Man, who I think is involved. The Umbrella Man was there right by when he drove by, and he said he was there holding the umbrella in protest because it was umbrellas were held to protest JFK's father because something with Neville Chamberlain. It was very convoluted. It meant nothing, and I don't really believe the full official story on the Umbrella Man, but that was the story of why it was a symbol and why he became a suspect of the assassination. And he was called into Congress like 10 years later, and they inspected the umbrella because they thought it was the weapon. Interesting. And they laughed about the umbrella at the hearing, which is funny to me because this is, we're 10 years later, and he opened it. He opened the umbrella. They all kind of got scared. But a week or two earlier, the KGB agent actually assassinated someone in Europe with an umbrella. So they were. It
was like a gun in the umbrella.
It was a dart, I think, like a poison dart in the umbrella.
Penguin?
Yeah, exactly like the penguin. Exactly. Yeah.
Batman murder.
I'm going to throw this into the context. I probably shouldn't, but I'm gonna, because there's other stories too. Don Lemon telling people to arm themselves against ICE. You guys saw the stories from last week? What is going on, dude? I'm sorry, guys. I don't know how to continue.
This is the evolution. It's Maxine Waters during COVID telling people to go out there and get in their faces. Yeah. It starts off light. It's Kamala and her people donating money for bailouts, for the arsonists during the Black Lives Matter riots. And this is the inevitable evolution of that open bloodlust.
Well, it's the bloodlust, and like I was saying earlier, now that they feel like they're severed from power, because, we were winning before the Kirk assassination. That's what a lot of people are missing. We were winning, and now they're out of power. They don't know how to get back into power. It looks like J.D. Vance might be a shoo-in if trends continue. Yeah, they're going to get desperate. They're going to lash out.
I made that point on X the other day. Like Matt Taibbi had written something up about about more evidence coming out that FEMA was selecting who they were going to help depending on people had, whether they had a Trump whatever in their yard and what their political affiliation was. That's how they behave when they're in power, right? The Lois Lerner in the IRS targets conservatives when they have power. Mm-hmm. The FBI targets parents that don't want their kids being taught gender ideology stuff when they're in power. Mm-hmm. When they're out of power, they just kill us.
Yeah.
The phenomenon that I've described in the past of how a riot functions, the avalanche of the riot. As the saying goes, Snowflake doesn't blame itself for the avalanche. There is no singular intent in a riot. When Tucker Carlson's home was attacked all those years ago, the far leftists showed up banging on the door. They actually cracked, I guess, the frame or something like that. I can't remember. I have been in many of these riots, and I explain how it happens, and it's simple. There's a group of people. One person at the front of the crowd sees a house or a building, and so he thinks, I'm going to look through the window. That's it. Nothing wrong with that, right? So he starts walking towards the building. Other people see him walking towards the building, and they think, I wonder what he's doing. I'm going to follow him. He then walks up, looks in the window. Someone else who followed him says, I wonder if the door's open. Just that. I don't want to go inside. And so they grab the handle and they give it a pull. It's open. Someone else sees him reaching for the door, and they think, oh, he's opening the door. So when he touches on it and pulls it and sees it's open, they come in and they grab it too, thinking, oh, we're opening the door now. Someone else sees the door opening and goes, oh, we're going in the building now. Each individual person never had the intent of, let's go storm that building, break the glass and raid it. But every tiny little motion, just like a murmuration of birds, the riot eventually starts smashing and destroying things. Where are we now? Don Lemon said people need to take up guns because I want to get the exact quote because this is very important. He didn't literally just say take up guns against ICE. He effectively said something to the effect. He said, if you believe in the Second Amendment, if you believe in the Constitution, black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally, because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for? Now, he gets slammed immediately by many people on the right. But I will say this. I have no problem saying to everybody, you should legally purchase firearms, be prepared and be trained. Even you were saying it, right? Mm-hmm. Here's the issue. Just like that murmuration phenomenon. Following this, you get this, was like a college guy or whatever, professor, I don't know if he's a professor or what is it, administrative position, saying, shoot him. Shoot him. And you know what he's probably thinking in his mind? I was just watching Don Lemon. That's what Don Lemon said. I'm just part of the crowd. That's the escalation, the avalanche that's happening. And it's getting worse. It's exponentially increasing. And I got to say, man, the things that I'm hearing on the ground, I don't think there is a higher degree of worry.
It's worth noting that if you're here illegally, you're not actually covered by the Second Amendment. You're not supposed to be able to buy firearms.
Yeah.
So
what he's saying is particularly egregious.
Well, and it's, I mean, he slips, it's a lie, really. He slips a line there. He's saying without due process. He made this point the whole time, was like, no, that is your due process.
yeah, and the
Well, conservatives, I blame conservatives for this. These retards. I'm sorry to be so angry, but it pisses me off to no end when prominent conservatives go on X and say illegal immigrants don't get due process. That is a lie. That is a leftist, that is a liberal lie. The due process, the process for which illegal immigrants are due, is that DHS, either CBP or ICE, knock on a car window of a guy and they say, howdy, do you have a license? This is a routine stop. And when they go, no, are you a citizen? And they go, no. They say, okay, you have no identification. Are you here legally? You have no visa? Looks like you're going to have an expedited removal. That is due process. Liberals falsely claimed that these people are supposed to get a jury trial, which was never true. And then conservatives, following along these liberals, keep repeating their stupid lie, but gloating about it. So no, there has not been a single instance where there is a confirmed violation of due process. And I know the liberals are going to say, kill Mar-a-Brego Garcia. That is pending adjudication. There has not been a single circumstance where an individual was falsely detained as a citizen or otherwise, falsely deported, and remains there, case closed. Never happened. Kilmer Abrego Garcia had an order for removal. He had a withholding of removal to El Salvador. When he was sent to El Salvador, it was disputed and he was returned. He is now in the United States. This is pending adjudication. So you can argue that you believe his rights could be getting violated. The only issue is if the courts ultimately determine if the judges say they did the right thing, there's no violation there. So I'm not playing any stupid games. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.